Our first guest tonight is an Oscar and Tony nominated and Emmy-winning actress you know from shows such as John Adams and The Big C and films like The Truman Show and Love Actually. She stars in the final season of Ozark, which is available now on Netflix. Let's take a look.
Let me be exceedingly clear. I don't want to work for you anymore.
I don't think you would have grabbed onto my coattails if you didn't think I was going somewhere. You've worked your whole life for this.
I could have been killed.
But you weren't.
Please welcome to the show, Laura Linney, everybody. This is, it must be a little sad for you to say goodbye to the character of Wendy.
It is.
I mean, what a juicy role.
She was so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, she was just out there and badly behaved. And
yeah.
It was just delicious.
So it is true what we always hear actors say, which is it's really fun to play terrible people.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It gives you permission to just slide all over the place and just like ethically and emotionally just be just sort of chaos.
And so, and never, I'm assuming you never brought any of Wendy home to your regular life.
Never.
Yeah, very easy to leave her on set.
Oh, my husband's so happy with me right now.
Well, right, because now he has, like, there's actual visual proof of how bad you could be if given the opportunity.
And now I'm missing her.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, maybe I just, like, slip it on a little bit. Just, like, really give, and it's our anniversary tonight, so maybe just, you know.
Yeah. Happy anniversary. So I would imagine it was also you shot this show in Georgia.
In Atlanta. Yeah,
and they must be a little sad as well. Like the fact that you guys went down there and created this great show that.
I hope so, but there's so much going on in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really exciting place to be. My whole family's from the state of Georgia, so although I was born up here, I have a lot of history in Georgia. So I loved being there, and it's so exciting to see that city explode in the way that it is.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have family from Georgia.
I do.
You have an 8-year-old son.
I do.
Are you trying to impress Georgia sports, Georgia football on him?
Well, we have, you know, a connection to the University of Georgia, so Bulldogs.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Bulldogs. Thank you very much. Thank you. And my great friend Willis Sparks, who's basically family, you know, is indoctrinating him.
That's good.
Fiercely.
That's a good age.
Fiercely.
I think 8 is a good time to start drilling it in.
Oh, yeah, he's right in.
So I didn't realize you have a connection to my home state of New Hampshire and the New Hampshire theater scene.
I do.
So what made you first start going up there?
Well, my father in 1953 was an apprentice at the New London Barn Playhouse in New London, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yes, hooray.
Okay.
And then when I was a teenager, I spent, my parents split when I was an infant. I would spend the summers with my father. And, you know, you don't really want to hang out with your parents all the time. And so I begged him to let me work at the theater. I begged him. So he took me there, and they said to the guy who ran the theater, like, just let her work for a few hours, she'll come home. And I was there 15 hours a day, every day. I broke every child labor law known to man. I loved it. And I was 11, 12, and 13 when I worked there. And then I also worked at the Keene Summer Theater in Keene. So I love New Hampshire.
Now, tell me, when you were 11, did you already love theater, or did you fall in love with it by doing that?
I already loved it.
You already loved it,
it was like the mothership. It just called me.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's so nice
I was running lights at 11. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It's a very libertarian state, so I'm sure when it comes to labor laws, they're like, who's going to come? Who's going to check?
I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was around all these older actors who must have been freshmen in college, probably. So they were like the, Mount Olympus, like these gods would walk around. They did Anything Goes, and they did Oliver, and oh, God, I was in heaven.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was great.
So, a show like this, a show like Ozark, which I feel like, people loved before the pandemic, and then it was a show that I feel like anybody who hadn't started it found it.
Yeah.
And so everybody has this relationship with it, and obviously it's sort of, I think to describe it as a thrill ride is fair. You're also a producer on it. How much thought did you guys put into the ending and how important it would be to a show like this?
Well, the ending, I let the writers and our magnificent showrunner, Chris Mundy, handle that.
Yes.
When someone has created a full 4-season arc, like the architect of something like that. You want them to be able to tell the story they want to tell. So I just said, yes, thank you. And, you know, they were just amazing. For 4 seasons, like every season had something special for all of us to do. It was an amazing ensemble, and, you know, we loved doing it, and we're so happy that people seemed to like it. And, you know, it was really a real privilege.
Do you think about, when you think about what you're going to do next, do you try to go as far afield from a character like Wendy as possible?
I know, it's going to be hard. I'm leaving soon to go do a movie in Ireland, and I've actually thought about, like, I've got to get certain cadences out of my mind. I have to, you know, it'll be interesting to see if because I've never played anyone for that long.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I don't know how haunted I will be.
Yeah.
But I'm
that's
sure
gonna be a fun thing to find
I'm sure
out.
people will let me know.
You're gonna close like the you know, the medicine cabinet in the bathroom and
That's
just be
right.
looking back at yourself, being like, Wendy's still here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip something off a wall.
Hey,
I'm gonna start
I want to
cursing.
pitch a show for everybody
Yes.
who's done with Ozark and is like, they're short. I love the miniseries John Adams so much.
Oh, thank you.
And that was a very nice person. You got to play a nice person in that.
Yes,
one.
I did.
Yeah.
I sure did.
And I feel like there was just something I rewatched it again during the pandemic, and because it is people who like believe in what's good about America, it's a really nice thing to watch again.
Isn't it? It was a wonderful series to do, and I learned so much about our country. You know, it was just shameful that, you know, at least when I was in high school, like American history was pretty light. You didn't really learn stuff, and you should sort of learn it again as a more mature adult.
Yeah, when you have perspective
to learn
on it.
how our country came together, how these people, these flawed, wonderful human beings, created this system that tried, and some things failed and some things succeeded, and then just the human commonality that we still have with the people then and there.
It is also, it's a really wonderful show about a marriage. Like, I think the sailing part is about American history, and then you watch it again.
Yeah.
I also had the perspective of being married the second time, and I was
Right.
like, oh, this part's way more interesting than America. Yeah. Or certainly more complicated.
Well, sure. Well, it makes and you realize there are certain things that just span time. Like I always loved the moment where they went to Europe, and they came back, and she was famous. And all of a sudden you realize, like, her behavior really shifted.
Yeah.
Because she became famous. She could feel the power of fame. This very together, sort of modest woman all of a sudden had a little blood in her mouth for power. And I thought that was like, oh, I've seen other people go through that as well. That's not an uncommon, it's not an uncommon
so it turns out it's not just Hollywood where that happens.
No, no.
So we get 8-year-old son. I would imagine Ozark's not on the table yet.
No,
So
none of it's on the table.
Nothing. Yeah,
Not
I was
yet.
trying to think. Do you have anything? No real entry point. Yeah.
No, not yet.
Does he even believe you're an actor?
He doesn't quite get it.
Yeah.
He knows that, like, I have a lot of friends on the street.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, want to say hi. They're very friendly, and people are nice.
Yeah.
They come up and they say hi, and every once in a while, I'll be like, how do they know you? I'm like, oh, you know, I show up at work. But, you know.
That's a cool thing. It's a
Yeah,
cool thing to
I got
be
a
able
lot
to
of
explain.
friends. I have a lot of friends.
You just go, yeah, I have a lot of friends. As soon as you go to bed, I'm out on the town.
That's right.
Thanks so much for being here. Congrats
It
on
is
an
my
incredible
pleasure.
run on the show.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank
You guys,
you.
that's
Thank you.
Laura Linney. The final season of Ozark is streaming now on Netflix.